So if you don't want a kindergarten teacher to talk to your kindergartner about sex, you're anti-gay?
Welcome. Thanks for joining me. Got a good video for you today coming from Tucker Carlson showing just exactly the drive-by media's intention of scaring the American population and fear-mongering their base into continuing to vote for Democrats and trying to emotionally create a division and hatred for the Republican Party and anyone who doesn't outright support LGBT. It's not a matter of you have to oppose LGBT, but if you don't outright support it, then their view is that you're against it. Which is very scary to say that if you're not with me, then you're fully against me. That's a scary, scary way of thinking about life. So let's jump into it.
MSNBC has spent the last 2 days suggesting that because he signed a bill banning teachers from sexualizing kindergartners, Ron DeSantis is somehow tied to a mass shooter in Colorado.
Earlier this year, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis infamously signed into law what critics have called the Don't Say Gay bill, which prevents some teachers from even discussing the existence of gay and trans folks.
When you have a Don't Say Gay bill in the state of Florida, for instance, or when Ron DeSantis wants to send the police to investigate drag shows.
The Don't Say Gay bill in Florida is certainly something that helps add to his national political profile. But one thing is clear is they just want to continue demonizing folks and otherizing people.
They started moving in the spring to LGBTQ people. Specifically, they were really excited about the Don't Say Gay bill in Florida.
So when you have the drive-by media actively lying and using the phrase "Don't Say Gay bill" when the word gay isn't even in the bill. The fear-mongering that's been created behind this bill, nothing of what they tell you is in the bill is actually in the bill. It is a protecting of the innocence of our children from people talking about sex to them that are unqualified to do so. And instead of the bill being represented properly, it's purposefully twisted to scare the main viewer of MSNBC and the main viewers of the drive-by media.
No matter how you feel about Ron DeSantis or about sex, it's not plausible. In fact, it's ridiculous. Yet they keep saying it. And the question is, why do they keep saying it?
I believe that they're doing it purposefully to lie to their base and to people that they could slowly convince through the Republican hatred and the January 6th committees, through all of the smoke and mirrors that we've seen played over the last couple of years, to blatantly turn the Republican Party into the party that everyone should hate. And anyone who votes for Republicans, that you should hate them as well. And now they hate Republicans, won't vote for Republicans ever, and are pretty much Loctite supporters of them from now on. All through emotional lies.
So most of the patients that we have in the GEMS clinic actually know their gender, usually around the age of puberty, but a good portion of children do know as early as seemingly from the womb, and they will usually express their gender identity as very young children, some as soon as they can talk. They might say phrases such as "I'm a girl," or "I'm a boy," or "I'm going to be a woman," or "I'm going to be a mom." Kids know very, very early. So in the GEMS clinic, we see a variety of young children all the way down to ages 2 and 3, and usually up to the ages of 9.
That is not science. That doesn't bear any resemblance to science. That's scary.
Disney is based in Florida, and Disney felt that they should get involved in helping to fight against the bill signed into law by DeSantis. And yet Disney is held to federal regulations for viewer guidelines of G, PG, PG-13, R, NC-17 are examples. And yet, we see Disney, who's held to federal guidelines, and the federal government themselves having guidelines as to what we as people and what they themselves have deemed as appropriate for children to be seeing on TV and through entertainment. And yet the contradictory nature of leftists and the Democrat Party openly opposing those very same rules and regulations that are put down by the federal government that control what our children can see on TV, or at least give guidance as to what we should let our children see on TV. But yet we don't think there should be any guidance in our schools as to what they're taught, but from a random math teacher who decides that they want to give their opinion about sex. And so the words of a 9 and under child have never been taken 100% because we have to ask if the parent behind them is potentially coaching them or grooming them into saying what they want them to say. That can't be dismissed.
It is a dangerous cult that is causing irreparable harm to children, not just a few, but a lot. Now, at some point, when the spell breaks, our entire society will recognize this because it's obvious, and we will all recoil in shame that we ever tolerated it for a second.
This constant behavior that we have of conforming to whatever everybody's feelings are is not being recognized by enough people to change the tide away from our continued selfish direction that America is going in. And so as much as I hope you're right, and I hope we recoil and realize how poor our behavior is, but there's nothing on the horizon that suggests that that's what's going to happen. What unfortunately it looks like, without proper input and action by informed people to fight the fights that we haven't wanted to fight, with informing people that it's going to take a lot of hard work to inform, we have to do. Because if not, the direction our country's going in isn't going to change. It's going to stay in this same exact direction, and there isn't going to be a recoil. We have been on this dangerous path for a little while now, and we're not seeing an awakening of enough people. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Thanks to my new subscribers. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching. Later.